G'day everybody, how you going today? It is so good to see you. I do hope you are super well. This week in creating news, what's creating news? Well, mostly it's about sales. Nikon sales, Tamron sales, Canon sales. A little bit up, a little bit down, plus a few other headlines. All right. Tamron, who had absolutely booming profits for the first quarter of this financial year. Beyond that, they are planning to release 7 new lenses this year. So not only did Tamron make an enormous range of Tamron branded lenses, which includes for E mount, for Z mount, now for RF mount, and, I suppose we can include the older mounts like F mount and EF mount, along with XF mount and more. They make so many different lenses for so many different mounts. But also, I think we are safe in understanding that they also manufacture lenses for the original equipment manufacturers, the OEMs. So does that include Canon, Nikon, and Sony? I don't know for sure, but I think it includes at least some of them. Two of those lenses so far are the 28 to 75 2.8 for Z mount and the 11 to 20 millimeter for the RF mount. And having a quick look at Canon, for their imaging division, sales have actually been down. Now, I will leave a link below if you would like to deep dive on this. It's somewhat logical considering that their most recent flagship was the R3, which is perhaps not what a lot of Canon users were looking for, and that now dates back to 2021. That's a long time ago. And of course, the R5 is the previous year, 2020. Now, Canon have had huge success with entry-level cameras, but my suspicion is there's not as much profit, not as much margin in those cameras, and of course the sell price is much lower. So overall, even if you're selling twice as many cameras as somebody else, let's say you're selling twice as many cameras, but you're only making, let's say, $100 a camera, whereas your competitors might be selling half as many, but they're making $500 a camera, and thus they are making more money. It's still in profit, it's just not as profitable. So let's be very clear about that. There is nothing going wrong here. There's no doomsday for Canon, that's for sure. And we won't be getting any of those ridiculous headlines that Nikon had to suffer a few years ago, which were ridiculous because that was never going to happen. And we won't relitigate that today. But yes, Canon, it is rumoured. I wasn't going to really talk about the latest rumours because we've talked about them the last few weeks. It is still rumoured that we're going to see potentially 2 new high-end Canon bodies this month now, in the month of May. That will make a massive difference to their bottom line. And perhaps it'll also make people more excited, the fact that the mount is now being opened up to other lens manufacturers, notably Tamron and Sigma. If you've had your eye on a Z8 and you're in the USA and you haven't decided to pull the trigger on one yet, it is on sale, down from $4,000 US dollars to $3,500 US dollars. That's a 12.5% decrease in price. It's pretty significant. And from what we can see from around the world, the Z8 and the ZF, but we're talking about the Z8, continues to sell really well. My expectations are there is no Z9 or Z8 replacement coming anytime soon. So this is just discounting for the sake of users. It's not because it's a run-out model or anything like that. Look, the Z8 is a great camera, and pretty much it would cover 99.9% of use cases. It's the absolute all-rounder, and at that sort of price point, you're covering so many bases, whether it's high-speed photography, whether it's 8K video, and everything in between, whether you want pixel shift, all of it's in there. It's just such an absolute Swiss Army knife. And of course, here in Australia, if you're thinking about getting a Z8, you can use my discount code, which is below, and that gives you 10% off your purchase. So another great way to buy directly from Nikon. Obviously, they've got the most stock, and you can grab your camera there. Absolutely fantastic. Now, Hasselblad. Hasselblad, you know, I've got my beautiful Hasselblad. It featured in one of my most recent videos. I still have it. I don't use it that much. Hard to justify for a whole lot of reasons. And even so, at the time, it probably had the best sensor ever made. It's, 10 or more years later, and it's not the best sensor ever made anymore. But they do make modern cameras like the X2D, which is a camera that I really love. I think it's a great camera, and if I could afford every camera system under the sun and some of the more opulent, luxurious camera systems, I'd probably grab myself an X2D. Now, that system has just released a brand new lens, which is a 20mm equivalent lens. It is a 25mm f2.5. The range of lenses is growing huge for this mount, this Hasselblad mount. If I was a billionaire, definitely. Well, yeah, even if I was a millionaire, I'd definitely have all of those. I do think they're beautiful, and obviously with that 100 megapixel sensor that's in those, as well as in the GFX, the Fuji GFXs, deliver absolutely outstanding pictures, which can't be rivaled in a single frame by any other camera or any other sensor. Sensor size does actually matter. It's just a matter of whether you want to spend the money to get the glass to put over those sensors, and that's the hard part. And we'll just do a quick rundown of a little bit of other news. Apple have just released the first product which has the M4 chip in it. Now, we had the M1, first Apple Silicon, M2, M3. These are all amazing chips. I run an M2 Ultra Studio to do my editing. It's unbelievable. It just carves through everything like lightning. It's hard to believe that perhaps a year or two later, we're going to have the M4. We already have the M3. I'm guessing the next studio will be an M4 Ultra, if not something more, and it will cut through these 4K and 8K videos even faster. Absolutely amazing. The news this week is that M4 chip has arrived in new iPad Pros. I'll let you jump on apple.com to see the details, but these appear to be astonishingly powerful machines in just such tiny form factors. I think one of them was 5.5 millimeters, so that's half a centimeter. It's like 1/5 of an inch, something around that thick. And the other one is even thinner. So as Apple say, it's 5.1 millimeters thin. Unbelievable what Apple are able to achieve. They've got 11, 13-inch screens. You can use their touchscreens, so you can use pencils or hand gestures, as well as having full new keyboards with touchpads. I tell you, if I was 25 again, this might be the sort of machine that I have, except for the fact that I do a lot of editing. Now, these machines can absolutely handle editing. It's just I like working on a big screen, and I happen to have a 32-inch screen as well as a 27-inch screen. And I remember reading many, like 2 or 3 decades ago, how IBM or someone had done research into does having a larger screen or screen real estate increase productivity? And the answer is absolutely yes. So I'm a big believer in that. And also released this week is this awesome lens right here. This is the 16mm f 1.8. I'm midway capturing awesome images to show you in a video. So that is coming ASAP, as soon as I can get it out, but this is now launched. And what's so exciting about this lens, I don't want to reveal too much or you won't watch the video, is, well, it's the first 16mm 1.8 prime that we have for Z-mount. How good's that? And it's really high quality, and it's got a screen, and it's color. What? Also released this week is the latest NIX collection number 7. Now, I think I remember downloading this from Google many years ago, like, I don't know, maybe somewhere between 10 and 15 years ago. Might have been version 2 at that point in time. I'm not sure. It has ended up changing hands who has owned this, and now DxO own the NIC collection. And I've been using it for years to create very filmic looking looks on digital files if I ever needed to do that. Version 7 is out now. They keep upgrading it. They keep making it Apple Silicon aware, among other things. It's actually separate programs that do separate things like really authentic black and white, really authentic aging, really authentic colors. There's also sharpening and other elements to the NIX collection. It's very affordable. I think for what it does, it's very affordable, and it does integrate into Photoshop. Worth taking a look at because it doesn't cost very much and you can get some great results fully customizable. And in good news for Nikon, their stock has surged 10%, and this is the first time since 2013. If you're interested in the good fortunes of Nikon, well, indeed, this is great news. And to wrap things up, Megadap have released an EF to Z adapter. So if you've got some old Canon lenses, you can now connect them to your Z-mount cameras, and this includes all of the EXIF, aperture, and focusing information, so they work as they would work on a Canon camera. It was really amazing to me as a Z user to be able to use all of my old F lenses as well as E-mount lenses, because I own a few of those as well, on the Z system. So it just allows you to get going straight away. Now, of course, this also includes Canon EF lenses. And again, because Nikon have the largest mount, the largest diameter, and the shortest flange distance, this allows the Z mount to be more adaptable than any other mount in the 35mm hybrid mirrorless space. I think it might be the most adaptable of all mounts that I'm aware of. It's good. It's good if you want to play with old glass, that's for sure. And in final news, it is rumoured that Sigma may well be releasing a 24-70 2.8 next week. This will be for E-mount, but who knows who else it might end up being for. Especially considering that Sigma was talking about making full-frame lenses for Z-mount in a roundabout sort of way just a few weeks ago at NAB. Can't wait to see what Sigma do for full-frame Z-mount. Obviously, they're doing a huge amount for the E-mount in full frame, and right now with the RF mount, everything is just APS-C. We'll see when Canon allows the third parties to graduate from APS-C to full frame. All right, everybody, well, that's it. I'd love to know all of your thoughts in the comments below on the latest creating news this week. Is all of those things. And hey, let's create a little bit of news in the comments below. All right, it's been so good to see you. And if this is your first time here, I would love to see you again. So please do subscribe, please share, and please like. All right, bye for now.